Our team represents the community we serve. So you can see the team has a language, cultural approach, race, ethnicity, origins. So the team itself is so diverse. When the community approaches, they feel represented.
Hello and welcome to the Pathway to Impact podcast series. My name is Madeline Arkins, Research Project Officer at UIIN and your host for today. During the 2023 UIIN Conference, we had the pleasure of sitting down with Sandra Marin Ruiz, the Assistant Vice President for Innovation and Business Development at Florida Atlantic University. In her role, she connects academia with regional economic developers to drive innovation and support small businesses in Florida. Join us and discover how they measure the economic impact of this initiative and their ongoing efforts to foster greater inclusion and diversity for the community they serve. Hello, I'm here with Sandra Marin Ruiz, Assistant Vice President for Innovation and Business Development at Florida Atlantic University. Thanks for joining me, Sandra.
Thank you for the invite.
First off, I would just like to hear a bit about your role at FAU and what you do.
Florida Atlantic University is one of the 9 public universities that host the Small Business Development Center in the state of Florida in the United States. This is a national program, federally funded, to support small businesses. Small businesses gone up to 500 employees, and we provide business consulting to the community, but also because we are integrated inside the university. My role also includes to bring all of those services to the academic community, students, faculty, and that's why my role is innovation and business development, because I support that connection between academia and the economic developers together, supporting the regional economy by creating businesses, helping them to grow and to create jobs in the region.
It seems like you really bridge a gap then between those regional economic developers and academia. What sort of challenges do you see most often pop up when trying to bridge this gap?
The gap exists initially because each academic institution are economic development drivers, and we have economic development opportunities, programs from government, industry, communities. So usually the main challenge and the main need to connect is information, communication, how between each other translate opportunities into the potential, let's say, clients. So if a business owner is coming and look at all of the players, usually the main challenge is, where should I start? If I'm taking services from one, how can I jump into the next one? And that connectivity is one of the main opportunities we found to improve the collaboration. And this is the topic of my presentation today, is the innovation district concept, as how we all align in terms of data, being a one-stop shop for the community, but also to facilitate all of the players to understand what each others do, and with that being able to be collaborative, have more synergies, and work together more efficiently, in the benefit, of course, of our community.
I would love to hear more about these innovation business development districts and how that initiative came about.
So this is a concept. Specifically for SBDC, we have regional presence in the university, in different cities, in chambers of commerce. So we have a real regional footprint. But an innovation district is really how you connect the players into one site. So in the case of the cities, an innovation district is how we are, the economic developers, sitting with the city officials and also providing services to the street businesses. So we have a couple of cities in which we have consulting services on site in the city hall. So the community is able to come and take services in consulting, but our consultants also visit them in-house. And we are able to bring the university resources to those outside places. Usually universities operate on campus, and due to this model, we are able to bring the university to the community via these economic development opportunities that we create with cities, with chambers. And we're basically immersed in the neighborhoods. We are immersed in the districts in which the communities reunite. City centers. And because this approachable way is walking distance, The business owner is operating the restaurant, so they have a proximity to the resources. So they don't have to navigate a complex campus to get resources from the university because we're able to bring them. So the small business development centers with their locations in the community is facilitating the resources that from the university coming to the community. And all of this innovation, support, social innovation is really triggering us. I can explain later if you would like.
Yeah.
And we are basically having more locations in which the university resources and the economic development resources are together where the businesses are. So this is the concept of the economic development district, and it's been working really well in impact. And the cities, the governments, and the community appreciate the fact that we facilitate access.
I wonder what support structures, strategies, mechanisms, processes are in place that you think are key to the success of this concept.
Okay, so the first resource is we are utilizing the federal funding that SBDC receives to operate in the community. So that resource, that is infrastructure, is already in place because we are hosted by the universities and academic institutions, and in the cases of the districts by cities. Those resources are coming with volunteers that are economic developers. We also have the consultants from SBDC, but also we can bring the researchers and other schools from the university to sit together. So the resources are already in place. What we did was to put it collectively united by data. We report together economic impact, and also we created a website that is a one-stop shop in which the community only have one entrance to access all of those resources. So we basically utilize all of the resources to reduce the complexity that somebody new in the region needs to understand to navigate. Especially in South Florida, we have a lot of migration from other states for job, for opportunities, for weather.
Yeah.
And navigating usually is something that is not easy. So we try to facilitate that, but also to show that the university is an economic development driver, that not everybody sees that, but we're trying to promote using the districts and utilizing the university knowledge in those sites.
How do you measure the impact that a concept like this can have regionally? Because I think that's something people struggle with, particularly with social, and you have the quantitative, but the qualitative experience of those involved. How do you measure that?
Yes, so there are two different questions. And one, we have it solved, and the other is working on it. Okay. So for the economic impact, data-driven, SBDC historically has huge CRMs, so we're working on their Salesforce at this point, for instance. In Florida, we've been 45 years, so we have 20 years of data. Every business that crossed our services, they are registered, and the consulting process that SBDC holds allow us to track what is the path that they follow. So we have clients that 20 years of history that they started with the idea, and now they are huge exporters, for instance. In terms of the innovation system, or the innovation pipeline, we put that database at the service of the university. So if a student comes to get incubation services, or they come to the research park, or a faculty wanted to create a company, everybody's in the database. So with that data, we utilize InPlan, that is a software to inform economic impact, and we utilize that data every year. So we also have annual surveys, and they give us the economic impact in capital access, sales increase, job creation, retention, the traditional, and this is solved, done.
Yeah.
But coming to your other question, how we solve it. So the social impact is something that is in development because we need to measure how the funding that we help the companies and the communities access change their life or the quality. So it takes time. We have 11 indicators, and those are coming from traditional community development metrics. And it's not in the database yet. We are in the qualitative studies process, so I can tell by success stories how they transform their life. This is our best mechanism at this point. But in terms of formal research, we have not reached that. I'm eager to have some good tools. That's why the conference is very important, because I've been learning how others are really doing that part.
Yeah, I think that's something that a lot of people are contending with right now. So it's good to see that as in progress. I actually have one more question. You said that the area that FAU operate in is very diverse as a result of migration. I wonder how you factor in inclusivity and inclusion in your operations when you're dealing with such a diverse group of people. How does that influence how you work?
That is an amazing question. So the first part is like all of our team represent the community we serve. So you can see the team has language, cultural approach, race, ethnicity, origins. So the team itself is so diverse, so that when the community approaches, they feel represented and it facilitates. I'm Latino and I'm still learning some actions in Spanish that is faster for me than in English, for instance. And this is one part. And also our programs itself, we serve a non-discriminatory basis. So everybody has the same path to access services. It's not restrictive. We are intentional in some services, so we create a program called Grassroots, and we start creating capacity and creating confidence in some communities. So we got funding from some private entities to take the services that we provide that are high-level consulting, but we download this to tell the community this is what businesses mean. And we go to their neighborhoods and we start talking, okay, let me explain and give them confidence to start a business or to start a government contract, or at least to learn what is this about. We build confidence. So then for those who are a little more ready, we build capacity. Then we provide the consulting specialized services. But because it was not designed into the program, we created that new avenue that I call community engagement, social innovation, the component part, and also it brought more resources to our program. So we expand our capacity and we have more consultants that are helping nonprofits. And with Grassroots, we hire small consulting companies that are inside already in the neighborhood, that they have already the trust, they have communities there. They help us expand in our services, and they prepare those communities and those entrepreneurs to come to the actual consulting that is taking them to the next level. So we had that gap, and most of those communities are underserved by location or by culture. So you have Florida diverse in all senses. One of our partners is one of the cities in which the community from Brazil is huge, not too much English. The community from the Hispanics that moved to Florida, not too much English. So we created a lot of programs in both languages to facilitate the preparation. So now when they are just ready, they have an employee that might help them with the paperwork. So we help that smooth transition. That for me is inclusivity. Whatever definition is in the field, as long as I'm able to put resources in and help people to navigate the whole program without being restrictive, I think we're doing our part.
Thank you for listening to the discussion. Follow UIN on LinkedIn, and if you're enjoying our podcast, make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on your podcast platform of choice to help others find this content too.